Hi guys, so this is a very abbreviated finger picking primer, so to speak. So in my hotel room in New Orleans right now, in between play technical rewrites and stuff. So just remember, try to keep your left hand in a natural position and your right hand in a natural position. Remember, you're not squeezing the neck. You're pushing on the guitar to get pressure on the fretboard so you don't have to squeeze. And there's another video on that you can find on my website. The things I wanted to talk about mostly are some right hand things here. So your home position, which we've talked about in lessons before, you find the two outer strings and put your thumb on the A string, and the D, G, and B strings are your next three fingers. And you're going to want to feel the tension of any guitar you're playing to begin with. Feel the tension of each string. They're all different. The string needs to push down a little bit into the body of the guitar and kind of towards the opposing edge of the guitar, and you let the string roll off your finger. Whether or not you have nails, and the string rolling off your finger is what gives it that nice tone, different kind of tone than pulling up, right, which is thinner and kind of tinkier, which you don't always want. Sometimes you do want it, you know. But right now we're just trying to get a nice pretty tone. Your thumb is going to very gently allow the string to roll off your thumb while giving it some inward pressure. This is a rest stroke because I'm leaning on the next string, but it doesn't have to be a rest stroke. Same with these guys, they don't have to be rest strokes, but you want to push in on the string. So our first exercise with the middle four strings, after finding our home position, which is the A, D, G, and B strings, is just to pull our thumb a little bit out of the way so that when we close our hand, the fingers don't interfere with the thumb, and just play the strings very gently and try to get them all the same volume if you can. What you don't want to do is this. You don't want to pull your hand away from the guitar. You just want to close your hand. So there's very minimal up and down movement. Every time you come away from the guitar, you have to find the strings again, so that's inefficient, right? Little brighter sound here, and you can find your good sound, and then don't lock it in, but find a good spot to lean your arm on for your lever effect. So in order to gain independent control of the volume of each string, it's going to be different on every guitar, and for every set of strings actually, and for every position you're playing, but you want to pull each string a different distance. So I'm going to pull this top, after being able to get the volumes even, then you want to try to get the volumes different. So I'm going to play a little. What I'm doing is I'm pulling one string more than the other. So I'll pull this one more, the A string. I'll pull the D string more. And so on. And you can practice getting different volumes out of each string. So it's the amount that you displace the string, in other words, move it along the top of the guitar, that gives you the volume of each note. So you can just choose to pull one finger just a tiny bit more than the others, and you'll get. Or. So that's one way to kind of develop this perception, this kinesthetic relationship with your guitar and the notes. So the next thing you want to do, one of the next things you want to do is practice playing each string individually, melodically. And what I'm going to do is play with my thumb, put my thumb back down, play the first finger, put it back down, second finger, put it back down, third finger, put it back down. You can go backwards and forth if you want. But I keep putting my fingers back down. It's not particularly musical right now, but it allows you to have the control to keep to control the length of resonance of each note, instead of when they're all kind of ringing together, it's not quite as clear. Sometimes you'll want that, maybe, Sometimes you'll want them to ring together, but sometimes you won't. Maybe you want to turn that note up. So you can choose that. And you can play with a chord, like play a C chord and go. So not musical, but a nice control thing. And then what you want to do is practice. At the minimum, I know it's kind of an abbreviated thing, but at the minimum, if you're learning how to fingerpick, you're doing everything slowly. Don't play faster than you can actually play clean, because then you're reinforcing something that sounds sloppy. I want you to at least have one finger down. So there's a couple ways to do that. And the reason you want one finger touching all the time is it gives you stability to play the rest of the notes. So there's always one finger touching the strings for guidance, right? So if I'm playing this note, sometime before I play this last note, I want to put another finger down, right? So I have stability. So now what I'm going to do, in this case, I'm going to put all 3 fingers down in this home position on the D, G, and B strings. I'm going to go. Or I can go like this. And then put my thumb down. Now, either way is fine. Depends on which strings you want to ring. So that's a great exercise for gaining control. You can take that same right hand technique and move it up and down a different set of strings. If I move it to this top 4 strings, move it to the next string. You can go backwards and forwards if you want. But I'm planting my fingers on the strings before I play, because what you don't want to do is come from here and hit the string and play it at the same time, because you have no control that way. There's, later on you might have control, but right now you want to plant the string, get it in the right position so just the right of meat is contacting, and you use your ears to determine that. You totally loosen that first knuckle and try to move your finger across the string without this kind of tension, right? Without your hand flying away. So pick a chord. Whoops. Putting all my fingers down, planting them. Planting all my fingers. So when you're doing a finger picking pattern, you can choose the notes that you're playing. So in most of the songs that you'll be working on for this particular project, you're not going to have to worry too much about missing strings, because most of these are open chords where you can hit almost any of the notes in these chords, even in the pirate, little run up there with the A minor to B minor. It's kind of basic. Paul does it a little differently because he's, a little further along in his finger picking. But because you're playing with your fingers and not strumming, if you hear a note that you don't want, don't play it. You have the control to make that decision now. Okay, I'm going to not let this video be too long. I'm going to do another one on your left hand exercises. And there's nothing to say that you can't mix strumming and finger picking in the same song, Right, so you can go. Right, so it's really, I think you guys have a lot of latitude in the way you want to do it. The band is great. They'll follow you wherever you go. Just give them a little heads up, play it once for them, before you jump on there. Okay, so this video is almost 10 minutes, and I don't want to load up your devices, so I'm going to do another one for you on the left-hand stuff.